My name is Fred Soland. I am a professor at Pusan National University. This is my teaching sample lesson for 2019. On the board, I have information for the general description of a noun. A noun in English grammar is the name of a thing or a person. It is good to have the students practice learning about nouns and using nouns so the tiny information pieces are actually used correctly. With a noun, in English, they are split into two groups, countable nouns and uncountable nouns. Countable nouns, it's a very simple thing. The able means can, so can count. Uncountable means can not count. Some books use count and non-count. I personally do not like count and non-count as a description. I believe countable and uncountable are better descriptions. That is a personal preference. Next, going with the countable nouns. I go over how there are regular countable nouns and irregular countable nouns. I talk about the general rules of how to write and say single regular countable nouns or plural regular countable nouns. Single regular countable nouns usually require a number, the number one or the article a, on, or the. A, on, or the represent the number one, saying single. Why? Because in English, nouns love numbers. That's the easiest thing to remember. In English, nouns love numbers. Singles, you need the on, or the. Plural, you can put plural numbers, but you also need an S or ES depending on the spelling of the noun. A lot of Koreans have trouble with this. They simply need more practice using it in everyday English sentences. The more they practice using single nouns and plural nouns, the easier it will be to use them in the future. Now we come to the irregular nouns. The irregular nouns means not regular, not normal. Some irregular nouns have the same spelling for single and plural. No S or ES for plural. You still use the on, or the for the single, but no S or ES for the plural. One fish, two fish. One moose, five moose. Some words, you change the spelling for plural, but still no S or ES at the end. Goose, geese. Mouse, mice. There are many other examples, but we don't need to go over that right now. Moving over, we switch to the uncountable, the not countable nouns, cannot count nouns. Here, there are four groups. Liquids, and at this point I usually ask for ideas of different liquids, like coffee, water, milk, juice. I move to grains. I try to get the students to list as many grains as possible. Grains are things like sand, salt, sugar, flour, that's F-L-O-U-R. Gas would be air, oxygen, nitrogen, helium. And abstract nouns like emotions, like anger or hate or love. Can you count love? Well, according to one great movie, I Love You 3000. That's a funny thing. The students usually laugh. And then I go to a category that some words are both countable and uncountable, but they're not countable and uncountable at the same time. There are a handful of words that are mostly food-related words. Words like chicken or cake, pizza. There are many other examples. Chicken. You can count chickens. Go to a farm, chickens will run around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 chickens. Go to a restaurant, you order chicken, you start eating, you now have a piece of chicken. Cake. Go to a bakery shop, you look in the case. 2, 3, 4, 5 cakes on display. You cut one, you now have a piece of cake, which is uncountable. Pizza, same thing. How many pizzas do you buy to feed a classroom of students? But when you take a slice of pizza, that's now uncountable. There are other words like hair, H-A-I-R. If it's on your head, it's uncountable. If it's off the head, you can count them. 1, 2, 3 hairs. Those are examples of words that are both countable and uncountable. This is usually part of the Smart Choice 2 book and the Smart Choice 3 book. It is important to start practicing single regular countable nouns, plural regular countable nouns, sometimes irregular nouns. It's also important to understand uncountable nouns, especially when you start to use the words like much, many. Those two words require uncountable knowledge and countable knowledge. Much is for uncountable, many is for countable. A lot of people don't know this trick. Many. M is for multiples, multiples of 1. Where does the 1 come from? From the article an, from the article an. Any, from questions. Do you have any pencils? Multiples of 1, many, works with countable. Much, the U is uncountable. Multiples of uncountable measures. Much works with uncountable. A lot of students do not understand that. After I teach that, they say, oh, now I get it. It's great teaching nouns. This is very quick, very simple, and it's easy to repeat the lesson. It's easy to go back to a lesson on countable and uncountable nouns. I usually try to do the nouns at the beginning of a semester. Then I work on adjectives, then I work on pronouns, then I work on adverbs. I try to keep this to 5 or 10 minutes in a lesson, and then I go to the book lesson. This has been my sample lesson. My name is Fred Soland. Thank you very much.